with Limerick leader J correspondent Jerome O'Connell. Jerome, mission accomplished for Limerick, National League title in the bag and also a ticket to next weekend's Munster semi-final against Tipperary. They must be very pleased with that.
Yeah, Limerick were impressive. They were probably maybe a bit slow in elements of the opening half. They were fast out of the blocks, but allowed to Clare get a bit of a foothold at that stage. And even John Kiley in his post-match interviews just remarking that he wasn't quite happy with that opening half, but I think in the second half they really flew from the blocks in that second half. You could see that there was a greater pace about it, greater intensity from Limerick, and it's been 7 months since they played a competitive game as well, so I guess you're going to see a little bit of that with teams as they emerge into the championship. But overall, to hit a score of 36 points, it's impressive. 10-point winners over Clare, collect a little bit of silverware. A good day at the office, I would think, for Limerick.
They talk about championship minutes. I suppose the sides retired level at half time, but Limerick struck over those first 5 points at the start of the second half, and even though Clare responded with a goal, you felt Limerick had gained the upper hand.
Yeah, I think so. And if you look back through the game, I think the restarts were good to Limerick in all situations. From the beginning of the game and after water breaks and after the half time, Limerick always seemed to find scores in those couple of minutes, and that was crucial to the win as well. But I think from a Clare point of view, they were massively reliant on Tony Kelly. Limerick never went toe to toe with him, but managed to, rather they kept their own shape and played their own game. And I think in the end that told Limerick ended with 11 different scorers from play, whereas Clare were very, very reliant on the return from Tony Kelly. And it was a good outing from Limerick. There's no doubt that there's room for improvement, but to hit 36 points in your opening game of the championship, you wouldn't argue with that.
It was interesting to hear John Kiley say in his post-match press conference that the mood felt like a championship day, the nervousness amongst the players, and the one big missing aspect of the day obviously is the crowd.
Yeah, I think to be here, and as a journalist, you're probably privileged to get here when it's behind closed doors, but it certainly felt very, very surreal. You just miss that roar of the crowd that you get on Munster Championship Day, even from the start. The game was on before you knew it, really. But that said, I think as the championship goes on, the intensity levels and the pace of the game will probably increase. Interesting also to note, the volume of scores, and we saw it in Dublin and Laois as well, that maybe the games are going to be that little bit more open. I think you're finding the same thing in Premier League soccer, and that does appear to be that increase in scores when it's without supporters. I'm sure there's a thesis to be done on the aspects of that, but I think that overall Limerick were impressive.
I suppose the fact we were playing with a yellow schlitter came in for a bit of chat leading up to the game, but didn't seem to have any real impact on it. And in fact, as you mentioned there, it was very high scoring.
Yeah, and I was interviewing Keane Games last week and asked him about it, and the simple answer was that it still goes where you hit it, and I don't think there was any issues with it. Yes, it's another aspect to what is a very unusual 2020 championship, but I suppose at the end of the day, once the two teams go over that white line, it's hurling, and it's hurling as we know it, albeit all different.
Next weekend, obviously, Limerick and Tipperary, great rivals, two of the leading contenders, leading fancies to win Munster and the All-Ireland this year. This time next week we'll know a good bit more, I suppose, as to where both teams are in terms of their All-Ireland credentials.
Yeah, and I suppose the game against Clare should stand to Limerick. We did see that they were that little bit rusty at times, so it'd be interesting to see how Tipperary are in that regard. You always prefer to have a game under your belt, and I think that Limerick will hope that that'll be a positive in their side of things. To me, that they are two teams that will be on the short list for everyone for All-Ireland honours. The last two All-Ireland champions, they've had some incredible battles the last couple of years, and it's the makings of a right good game down in Porky Creeve next Sunday.